Hello everybody, it's Girl Got Game, and welcome to another Gander video. Today, I am checking out the demo for Red Clover Case Files Seance Soirée. So, I was reached out to by one of the devs, Mazzy, who asked if I would be interested in taking a look at this demo because this game is currently in Kickstarter, so I will have a link to that in the description below. And the art immediately caught my eye, as well as the story for this. So let me just give you a little bit of background here. Freshly minted occult auditor John Tsukimori receives a strange invitation to where his ilk isn't wanted, the Seance Soirée, an event hosting the biggest stars in spiritualism. Surely it's some kind of mistake, but John's free, and his sister Julia is out of school for the summer. Who knows? Might be fun. Until a real murder disrupts the morbid circus. John must now push past the smoke and mirrors of professional psychics to prove the killer is among them and not the great beyond. Time to get to work, detective. So this is the first chapter of an episodic 2D visual novel series where you, the player, are tasked with navigating a murder mystery, investigating crime scenes and haunted locales, interrogating a collection of bizarre but intriguing characters, and evaluating all you learn to name the real killer or killers. So, I love a good old mystery. Why don't we jump on in and see how we fare? There's John.
It's useless to start worrying now, right?
When we're almost there? Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
The express line. 2 tickets. Honored guest to be held this August the 18th. That's my brother's birthday. You are cordially invited to the Seance Soirée, hosted at the illustrious Grand Orale Hotel. Courtesy of Lord and Lady Tremaine, I think is what that says, even though it's scratched out. Why would that be scratched out, I wonder?
A 3-day weekend. All expenses paid. But someone wanted us to know we're not coming at the behest of the Tremaines.
Ah.
I guess I'm still wondering why they want me here.
Artwork not final. Gotcha. I like a little sketch work, though. This is cute.
Julia pulls her face away from the window, scrunching her nose as she judges me, confused and a little annoyed in the gently swaying lantern's light.
Look at this art! Look at this! So beautiful. Duh! Isn't that why you came? To find your secret admirer.
Amazing. Bleh. I make a face back, and Julia returns her attention to the landscape. She squints into the haze and heavy rain, trying to find our destination in the dense, humid fog. It's early afternoon, not that the storm would let you know it. Between the dark clouds and the tangled-up tree line, we're riding through an eerie blue daylight, a color more at home underwater than above ground. Can barely make out anything besides the watery mud splashed up by the wheels. Intriguing, if it weren't so hot. The air is muggy with wet earth. I've heard of the summer monsoons in the countryside, turning already healthy and lush valleys into moors. The road doubling as a stream is unexpected, though. I guess as long as the coachman isn't worried about it, it should be fine. It's a nice carriage, too. Certainly nicer than we've ever been in. Can't feel the bench through the cushions. The lantern isn't jostling violently, threatening to burn us to death. Most carriages don't even have lanterns. Guess I should count my blessings that the summons included concierge transportation, and that the hotel is willing to honor it. All the services at the train station were closed from the rain.
Oh!
There's an excited smack against the glass as Julia cups her hands around her eyes to see something more easily. I lean over in my seat, looking out the window on my side of the carriage. I copy Julia's cupped hands, preventing the lantern's reflection from obscuring my view.
Whoa, that is gorgeous looking, very imposing, and slightly deadly, but gorgeous.
Oh, indeed. A dark pointed shape is coming into view, a blob poking out of the fog. The Grand Aureole. It's more threatening than majestic as we pull up to the landing, but it is certainly a fancy port in a storm. Feeling the coachman hop down, we prepare to head out. I open the door and Julia holds her hands overhead as a crude shelter from the downpour. I step out first, handing her my hat to use instead. Julia snatches it and hurries out, sprinting from the landing up the stairs. As our luggage is pulled from the rack and sat on the landing, one of the tall doors is pulled open. A doorman steps out, first looking at Julia, and then down at me and our luggage. You'd think we'd shut it with tree branches growing out of our heads for how confused as he looks. It's only 2 bags, and with the second one set down, the coachman leaves to stable the horses without a word, ignoring any opportunity for a tip. Makes sense. The rain is coming down in sheets.
Sure, yeah, that's the reason.
Julia waits for me and our bags at the open door, still holding my hat over her head. Once caught up and inside, the doorman slams the front doors closed behind us. Again, without a word. Again, returning to his post. He watches us from the corner of his eye, befuddled. The only path for us, forward into the hotel's foyer.
Wow. Even the foyer is fancy. Also, I want this piece of artwork just for myself. That is all.
The Grand Aureole is as opulent as its name implies, although the grand is starting to wear around the edges. All I really know about it is that it used to belong to royalty before the crown took a vow of poverty however many generations ago.
Explain yourself!
The heated demand jerks my attention around. At the front desk, a noblewoman wrapped all in bows and blue has the receptionist practically falling out of their seat. A couple of unsure bellhops share glances, neither willing to take initiative near a perfect pyramid of suitcases.
Annoyed in azure. That's amazing. You say it's too dangerous for a carriage, and yet here comes one now bearing 2 drowned kittens out of the pouring rain.
Julia and I both freeze, my hand halfway down the other arm from shucking water from my jacket, and Julia stays bent from wringing out her skirt.
I failed to realize we were paying to be lied to. Explain.
As though summoned from the ether, the hotel manager appears at the side of the desk, hands clasped in eager supplication.
My sincerest apologies, Lady Samrat, but I'm afraid we simply cannot guarantee the safety of our staff or our guests in these conditions.
Then what are they doing here? The woman flaps a hand in our direction as Julia shakes off a final few droplets. We silently, simultaneously, lift a hand in awkward acknowledgement. The manager leans over the desk to glance at the open ledger, brow creased.
Well, as a matter of fact, we were not expecting any more guests for the weekend. I'm afraid you'll have to...
She cuts him off with a swipe of her hand and whirls to face us, a perfect vision of aristocratic indignation, barely restrained by the tenets of polite society. You then! With a ramrod finger pointed right at us, her other hand a firm fist to her waist, she stomps closer with each demanding question. How did you get here? What service did you use? Is the coach still running?
Hey, we finally get to see ourselves. I love your Clover. That's pretty neat.
The main road, the hotel valet, and...
Nope!
The noblewoman whips around on the manager again. The poor man flinches before she even starts in on him. But you weren't expecting guests, so your valet is operating on his own terms?
well, that is to say...
Oh, utter incompetence! I'll be trapped with these ridiculous magicians for the rest of my blessed life at this rate! She makes a wide shooing gesture with her arm. Well, go on then! Take it all back to our suite. If we must be marooned, I'll be doing it dressed. It's only as the tongue-lashed staff begin to load the suitcases back onto the waiting cart do I realize that tiny mountain of luggage beside the front desk is hers. All of it? Wow. In a final act of aristocratic exasperation, she yanks at the ribbon beneath her chin, undoing the bow of her hat. Dramatic episode concluded, her eyes slowly shift back over to us, though, gratefully with far less fire. She's beautiful, even if her glare could melt glass. She holds one arm across her waist, propping her other elbow in its hand. Since we'll be neighbors, then... You another couple of hoaxers? Or are you sane? Julia ignores the noblewoman's inquiry, amused and marveling at her theater instead. With a shrug and lifted eyebrows, I answer honestly-ish. Neither? I extend a hand. The woman takes it daintily, in a proper fashion. John, this is my sister, Julia. Julia bows her head out of respect. A slight smile tugs at the noblewoman's lips. Lola Samrat would be thrilled were the pleasure mine. She offers her family name without comment about me having left out ours, if she noticed at all. We won't disappoint. We'll try not to disappoint.
Charmed!
Our respite has been totally, wholly arrested by this ghoulish spirit spree.
The soiree?
Whatever. If I'd known about the circus convention, I'd have booked us for another weekend.
If it were a real circus, at least there'd be trapeze.
Lola tries to fight a smile then, lips pursed with the corners of her mouth turned up. She seems to take in Julia a second time, as if revising her first impression. Don't we agree, darling? That'd be a worthy show, not this farce. Well. Her gaze resettles past Julia and I, unfocused with a thoughtful sadness. It's a sudden betrayal of her haughty attitude, speaking with a wistful disappointment and a shoulder-dipping sigh. I'd best warn Daddy that the patients will be running the asylum. Her eyes flick back to us, the bright, commanding energy right back where she left it. Not a beat missed. I can't imagine how, but you two enjoy your weekend in this madhouse. Julia, Johnny. John, actually. Why? Can't you spell the whole thing? Dang! Got me. Lola winks as she turns away, leaving me with just enough time to open my mouth, but not enough time to reply. Julia snorts, trying not to laugh at my being got. Yeah, we got. I clamp my jaw back up and snatch my hat straight off her head, and she can't hold it in. Shut up. I can't stay too irked about it if Julia found it funny, just as I decide to let it go. The ethereal voice.
You will always know a non-believer.
Oh. Boo, Brunette! Boo, Brunette! That's wonderful.
As they cannot wait to tell you, no?
It demands a genuine effort to keep my eyes on her face.
Thanks for acknowledging it, John.
Beneath it, ribbons from her neck are squashed within the ample, exaggerated cleavage. Her busty, near-bursting corset strains as she breathes. A shawl is draped across her arms, falling down to her waist. It creates a perfect, demanding picture-in-a-frame effect for her... Yeah. He looks so unamused. Yes, I've found that to be true. Whew. Julia is very still at my peripheral vision. Too still. and silent. With a tight, closed-lipped smile, I jolt her shoulder with my elbow. Startled and caught out, Jules straightens up stiffly, her chin too high to compensate for her blatant ogling. Eyes shift around, trying to find a new focus point, widening when they find the woman's face. Realization overtakes her embarrassment.
Be cool, Julia, be cool. Oh, aren't you? Didn't I see you?
The newcomer smiles expectantly, the corners of her lips quirking up in anticipation of flattery and recognition. Julia snaps her fingers and aha!
You did that interview in Mystics Monthly. Tarot throwback, right? You're Serafina?
The woman's expression instantly sours, those same corners now folding in, pursing her lips in insult. Although she's quick to recover with a more tranquil expression.
Serafina. Serafiona, merci beaucoup.
Right. The tarot reader. I have heard that name before.
And I will thank you again to disregard anything you might have read about me in that particular periodical. Oh? I thought it was pretty good. Once upon a time, perhaps. I graced their cover once a season for years, yet this is how they treat me. A shame what's become of good journalism in this country. We have this rash of non-believers in their failure, such as that young lady you were just speaking to.
Ah, that's the nerve Julia struck. A self-styled tarot witch. Last year's model by the sounds of it. Dark rooms with blacked-out windows and incense-soaked rugs, lit by low candles, cards turned over to reveal vaguely threatening futures. It's largely fallen out of vogue. The neo-spiritualism movement encourages more participation from its patrons. Tarot reading is too one-sided for a lot of people now, preferring the creepy and accurate readings from more involved or even possessed psychics. Throwback seems premature, though. And harsh. Serafiona's eyes flutter briefly, as if coming out of a trance and remembering we're in front of her.
Mais non. Still, I am without manners, and at disadvantage. You've shared with me my own name. Would you part so easily with yours?
I reach into my still-drying jacket. The thin metal case kept my business cards dry where the lining wouldn't. Julia still beats me to a real introduction.
Julia, this is my brother, John.
I retrieve a card and flip the case closed before carefully pocketing it. A gift from our dad on the day I opened my agency. Engraved and everything. I think he was more excited than I was when I told him about the idea. Serafiona holds her palm out for the card, waiting for me to hand it to her instead of her reaching for it. I step forward to meet her hand. Her long fingers curl closed before quickly rolling the card over her knuckles. With a final flick, my business card is pinched between her thumb and index finger. It's a cool little show of elegant dexterity. Julia watches the display with interest. I'm more interested in the show on Serafiona's face. Her eyebrows don't move, but a twitch of her mouth reveals some surprise as her eyes pass over our surname.
Tsukimori. You are related to...
Uh-huh. Here we go. That's what I was watching for. Ever since accepting my mystery invitation, I figured this would be impossible to avoid. Our mother is well known in psychic circles. I would expect anyone attending an event called a Seance Soirée to recognize her name. The problem is, well known is far removed from well liked. She's made more enemies among the living than the dead. Top of her field, friend to none. Yeah, one and the same. I apologize for however Iori has wronged you. Best to get ahead of these things before assumptions, accusations, or fists start flying. I've only ever caught one punch meant for Iori, but that was plenty enough for me.
I see. We are not to expect Iori's participation, then?
I sigh an involuntary, dry huh at the inquiry. Something like this would never be in danger of Iori showing up. Oh no, it's just the two of us here.
She's a solo. We're a duo. You're a liability. I'm just gonna glare at her.
I give Julia a look. Capital L. I'm a solo. You are here because it's summer break.
Same diff.
It isn't, though. Put at ease either by our antics or the reassurance Yori won't be present, Serafiona gives a closed-lipped but seemingly genuine smile.
Bon. How we are all the safer for it.
I stopped just short of flicking Julia's forehead. We both noticed that.
Safer?
With no clarification at all, Serafiona readjusts her shawl again, preparing to depart.
I won't take up any more of your time. I beg you to the card parlor. May you stop by in comfort.
I give a single nod up in thanks. Serafiona picks up her voluminous skirts and departs in the opposite direction from Lola, leaving us to finally get ourselves sorted with the hotel staff. Man, she casts a long shadow, huh, Jules? We're on another continent, and the first mystic we run into is someone she's burned. Julia doesn't respond. She just stares after Serafiona, lost in thought. I shake my head and scan the foyer, letting her fantasize while we wait for the concierge to recover from Lola's outburst.
Alright. Do we... Ooh! Ooh! I get to do clicky clicks. I can click on the flowers. This is the most important thing.
The crown jewel of the front hall is the massive painting at the top of stairs. It's a gorgeous portrait of Saint Ian and her steed Dimma. A royal dedicated to healing the sick, she rode around the country visiting hospitals and ramshackle clinics to tend to her ailing subjects.
Dang, that's cool.
Horses couldn't catch whatever humans carried, and Princess Ian was celebrated for improving the spirits of patients by taking them around on Dimma. She passed away from some malady she picked up along the way. Princess Ian was ridden with so many illnesses, it was hard for doctors of the time to pick any single one as the culprit. Now the saintess of equestrians, she and Dimma are the perfect mascots for the equestrian therapy offered at the Grand Orail.
They have equestrian therapy here? Sign me up. Ooh! The last royal to show their face.
What? No, she wasn't.
No?
No. You should know that. What are you learning in school?
It's summer! I refuse to learn anything right now.
Honestly.
I just want to save. For no good reason. Oops. For no good reason. Also, I'm just gonna, like, break everything. Hold on a second. Back to full screen. There we go. Alright, now we're cooking. Flowers, staircase... Events? This looks like the front desk, but I can't actually interact with it. There's also the seance room. Pointing that way. Okay, you know what? I gotta know about the flowers. Is there any... Oh, hey, I can actually move around a little bit. Okay, flowers first.
The faint, pleasing scent is explained by numerous decorative flowers. On pillars and railings, in pots placed so high I don't know how the staff reached them. The roses likely came from the front garden. I don't recognize the others.
I guess they're big on plants here.
Well, they have a royal garden. Be a waste not to use it.
I feel bad for anyone having to garden in the storms, though. I mean, they don't have to do that right this second.
Sturdy and wide, the stairs seem to spill from the second floor, like water spreading out from between rocks. The craftsmanship is incredible, which is to be expected considering who used to go up and down those stairs. They seem impractical for the same reason. Hard to imagine royals hooping it up there, huh?
I bet they let gravity do the work on the way down.
Now, that would be a sight.
I did read up on some royals who, like to slide down staircases, so it could be a thing. Is there more dialogue if you click on the same thing again? No, doesn't look like it. Okay. I had to check.
A slate sign advertises the seance. The black is clean and the lines are straight. I like it. I wonder if the Tremaines commissioned it or if the hotel's screever whipped it up on the fly.
Screever? I'm not familiar with that term. We should get Dad one of those.
You want to advertise for Dad, but not for me?
Dad actually gets work, so...
Jeez.
Roasted again.
The events hall is prepared. Reliefs of saintesses surrounded by wax, candles adorning the carvings down the hallway. It seems a little disrespectful to do so without prayer or outside of a service, yet I don't really have a reason as to why. Kinda like being rude to a nun. Regardless of conversion, you would never. If you run down that hall, your hair will catch fire.
You're lying. I'll tell Dad.
Tell him what? You want to run around in flames?
You're still lying.
The concierge looks to have recovered from Lady Samarit's outburst. We should check in.
I like that we were able to look at everything in the hall, and then the concierge is like, oh, I found myself again. I appreciate that, though. I like that, you know, you looked at everything, and then the game's like, and now you may continue. Because I always have fear of, like, missing something that I should have clicked on and continuing the story too soon, so I like that a lot.
I check in with the receptionist at last, and a bellhop takes our bags to our room. A 3-day weekend, all expenses paid. Courtesy of our anonymous benefactor. My secret admirer, as Julia put it. We haven't even been here for 10 minutes, and I've already got way more questions than answers. While the still perplexed receptionist looks at the papers I'd been sent to confirm the reservations, I look past them at the gold grid of keys and missives, one for each room. More blocks are empty than not, somewhat surprising for such an esteemed retreat in the dead of summer. And I don't think it's just the rain. Whoever invited me here, I wonder what's worth the effort.
Indeed.
We both ditched our jackets, and Julia redoes her braids as we reach the card parlor. The first thing I clock is the sign directing seance attendance to the East Ballroom. Hand-painted, not even printed. Old-timey loops and curls to exaggerate certain words, deliberate staining to artificially age the sign. The Tremaines must want to capture that vintage feel of an old psychic shop.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
None of the tables are properly manned, probably due to the low guest count. I'll survive. There are several card games I like, and none of them am I any good at. A maid and bartender excitedly sway on the patron side of one table. Sarah Fiona sits across from them, holding the maid's hand palm up.
And you recently took a trip down by the sea, is that right? Aberridge Cove, I might venture.
Yes, that's exactly right.
I can feel my mouth pull to the side in annoyance. Cold reads? I thought she was a tarot reader. Julia is halfway down her second tail, flipping her parted hair. She glares down at the braid as she weaves, annoyed with the uneven lumps.
Oh, she barely ever breaks out the cards anymore. Unless you pay top dollar, apparently.
I see. If Sarah Fiona doesn't even open her door without enough zeros, what did the Tremaines pay to get her here? Nobles are gonna noble, I guess.
It's a beautiful place. I've summoned there myself on occasion, and... Oh? C'est quoi? You didn't happen to have company on this little ajournement now, did you? An older gentleman, perhaps?
The maid's eyes flit down to Sarah Fiona's corset. I cast a sidelong glance at Julia, but she's not really watching. She's more focused on stuffing stubborn loops back into the plate.
Oh, no, not me. It was just me and my sister.
Je vois. It's for the future, then.
Oh, really?
The maid happily pulls her hand back, cradling it carefully in the other. Serafiona, pleased with the maid's dreamy, hopeful acceptance, looks to the bartender.
And you, mon ami? Shall we glimpse your fate?
Like Julia, the maid before him, and probably everyone else, it takes the man a moment to compose himself and focus on Serafiona's face, his own turning bright red.
I'd be chuffed, miss, but I'm afraid I don't have the cash on me.
Serafiona leans forward, her curls, shawl, chest swaying with the motion. Elbows on the table, she laces her fingers beneath her chin, almost drowsily shifting her eyes between the two.
No charge for her, no charge for you. How hard at work you both are, and how I am sure they would not stand you parting with money to guess. Nay, please.
Rolling her head into one hand, she extends the other.
Allow me.
Clearly willing and still nervous, the bartender nevertheless extends his arm, allowing her to pour over his hand. With just the long nail of her thumb, she traces the creases and lines of his palm, rocking her head gently, almost to a beat.
A healthy heart keeps time meticulously, and... Oh! Why, how curious! It seems there's a handsome man in your future as well.
Oh, really?
It seems love is in the air at the Grand Orel.
More like bullshit. Still, the two staff members excitedly thank Serafiona and depart, shoulder to shoulder, whispering happily about their promised futures. A waitress with a glass of something and a bowl of fruit trade smiles with her co-workers before approaching Serafiona.
I'm just gonna say it.
Deliberately finding something else to do, I thumb at the green felt on the nearest table. Julia plops down on the patron's side of it. Having decided her hair is good enough, she tosses the tail over her shoulder. Say what?
I'm pretty sure she wants people to stare.
I lift my brows, unimpressed. Of course she wants people to stare.
And I don't mean in a creep way. I mean she actually is hoping for that. Like,
She makes a rolling gesture with her hands.
like a forever boobalanche. A forever boobalanche, eh?
I swallow a laugh, my scoff almost becoming a snort. You don't think she goes out like that in her day-to-day, do you? The shawl, the ribbons, the gold chains. Like the maid's apron or the bartender's sleeve garters, she's dressed for work. Every moment you spend watching her. I give a limp, vague gesture with my hand. We both know what I'm referencing. You're not watching her anything else. It's all part of the act.
Come on. You're telling me she's not doing any psychic-ing right now? Even without her cards out?
I roll my eyes and park myself against an adjacent table. I cross my arms and look down at Julia, asking questions I already know the answer to. Did you look anywhere else? At her hands? Jules scrunches her nose at me, stank-faced and offended.
Stank-faced. Obviously, it's a hand reading, dingus.
Yeah? You see her checking his pulse, his watch? She sputters, caught out.
Didn't see her check their calendars for hot dates either. Would she be projecting? She might have, like, noticed the interest from the bartender when she guessed for the first one and been like, oh, it's like the same for you. I'm kind of curious what Julia will say if we say she's projecting, though, so I'm going to do that one.
If I had to guess, she's projecting. Julia looks at me like I'm an idiot.
You think Sarah Fiona, anyone, is hoping to find a paramour here?
I rode the back of my neck. Where was I going with this exactly?
I just wanted Julia to call me out. That's great. At a psychic convention in the middle of nowhere?
Maybe I am an idiot. You never know. At these kinds of events...
Treble in pink! The treble in pink.
Ooh, John, is that you?
Uh-oh. Oh, hi,
Hello, Minthy!
The back of my throat starts to dry, getting slower still than the time before last. Maybe, eventually, I won't react at all. For now, I swallow, stumbling past the shyness Minthy pulls out of me.
Oh, you're cute. I like you.
Hello, baby sister.
Hi. Hey.
Yes.
Hey?
Psst. I think your record needle is stuck.
Oh, he's always been like that. And I always rather liked that about him. Not to mention, still so handsome. How could fate take us so far apart?
Who knows? Of course she would be here. I shouldn't be so surprised. She's probably a step or two beyond up and coming in psychic circles. We stayed friends after the breakup.
Oh, messy.
Well, after she broke up with me, I should say. And maybe friends isn't the right word. I guess friendly. Julia's never disappointed when Minthy comes around. She took the breakup harder than I did. She wouldn't admit it, but I think Julia was afraid of being dumped along with me. Again. In any case, it's good to see Minthy here. It shows she's really making it, and not everyone here will be a stranger. Even if she looks like one. The hair's different from the billboard I last saw her on, and she never dressed like this when we were dating. I haven't seen anyone dressed like that, actually. The soft voice and gentle hand gestures are still the same, though.
But if the handsome detective is here with his lovely baby sister, who's manning the mountain of work at home?
Penelope.
Penny!
I can't tell if Minthy is being particularly generous or merely teasing. She knows I've never exactly been overburdened by offers of work. At the mention of Penelope's name, though, her mischievous smile seems to sag slightly.
Oh, she's still around,
Before I can confirm that yes, Penelope is still around, and yes, she's managing what workload there is, we're interrupted again. I guess anyone in this line of work needs to be bold. By a woman maybe 10 years Sarah Fiona's senior. She's veiled in muted colors, with a polished crystal clasp and shoulders so wide she must pass through doorways at an angle. She holds her chin high, making sure she's looking down her nose at whomever she's talking to. Tucked under one arm, an overstuffed binder covered with notes and cards tacked or pinned to the front. Commanding, demanding energy.
Oh my. Don't you give off, You're like a mixture of Cruella de Vil and Lady Tremaine from Cinderella. Oh my goodness.
Minthy, my darling, my dear! Stolen away from me, Yes, you were. Oh, Adelaide Roosevelt, meet John and Julia. Tsukimori.
I shoot Minthy a quick, unsure look as this woman, Adelaide, lights up like a firework.
Oh my god! I had no idea she was...
She's not.
She's not.
And fade out like a firework, too.
Aw, more's the pity.
Her bored disappointment perks up into a pinched, smug smirk. Reflecting a lot of practice and poise, Adelaide produces a business card out of thin air with a flick of her wrist.
Miss Roosevelt Adelaide, mystic executrix extraordinaire.
Aren't we self-important? I take the card with a shallow nod. A lot of fancy words to say she's a talent agent for psychics.
Darling boy, see that along to your mother, won't you? Surely you will. Dying for a chat.
Without waiting for a response, she turns to Minthy, casting us aside like we were never there to begin with. Seems she has no interest in us, only Yori. Maybe the only person I've ever met in this business eager to meet her.
Minthy, my dear, we simply must finish our conversation. It's unsightly to speak of business over supper. Walk with me? Of course you will, yes.
Minthy smiles and tucks her hand into the elbow of Adelaide's offered arm, allowing herself to be spun away from us. She turns as she's hauled off, using her free hand to leave us with a wave of wiggling fingers and a pleased goodbye. Julia returns the wave in kind just as Adelaide whirls Minthy back around and deeper into the parlor. I look down at the card Adelaide handed me. The stock is thick, embossed on both sides. Colored ink, curling font. Business must be good.
Case file updated. Ooh, I didn't even notice that was like updating up there. Hold on just a gosh darn moment. Jonathan Tsukimori, occult auditor. Bio, kind of embarrassed. Oh, he's actually writing it in his voice. Gotcha.
Kind of embarrassing, writing about myself in my own notes. Attending the Seance Soirée by unknown request. I don't really care about the festivities, but I do want to find out who went to all the trouble of getting me here. Julia Tsukimori, student. My younger sister. She saw my mysterious invite as a chance to meet famous psychics, and get out of helping at Dad's clinic during summer break. I want her to have a good time, but I hope it doesn't interfere with any work I might have to do.
And then who we just met?
Adelaide Roosevelt, talent agent. Or, according to her, mystic executrix. Immediately and obviously bold and shrewd, I'm sure she's good at her job. Her business cards make mine look like proof copies. I'm not sure I like the sound of her talking business with Minth, but that doesn't involve me. Lola Samarit. Noblewoman, socialite, the T is silent. Oh, she's a guest at the hotel, not connected to the seance or the soiree for that matter. In fact, she appears repulsed by the very idea of the occult and would rather rebuke it. Doesn't seem to be traveling alone or light. Minthy Leaf.
That's great.
Numerologist diviner.
She's so cute.
Rising star with dice and divination. I had no idea she was going to be here. Jules is happy about it. I'm not unhappy, mostly just surprised. Even though I know she's doing well. And I want her to do well. I should disclose that we used to date. That's unrelated to anything, though. She looks great. The haircut really suits her. This feels stupid. Smooth.
Oh my, I had to cross out a bunch of stuff.
Serafiona, tarot reader. A tarot witch whose fame is at dusk. It's unusual for tarot readers to make house or hotel calls. Seems to think she's pretty superior for someone who tossed out industry standards for a check.
Or rather,
a tarot witch of waning fame. I initially presumed she was here because business was bad, but Serafiona seems to really be in it for the love of the game. Maybe private events like this are the only clientele she wants anymore.
Interesting. We have items? Ooh.
My invite to the soiree arrived anonymously by post. No return address. Whoever sent me this wanted me to know the host had nothing to do with it. Normally I wouldn't have accepted, but my recent caseload has been, let's say, light. Our anonymous invitation came with 2 train tickets, express line prepaid. Our mysterious benefactor also wanted to be absolutely sure that we wouldn't miss the soiree.
Number 4 and number 12. I feel bad that I, don't remember what those represent. I feel like 12 is death, but I might be wrong. Hold on. I'm gonna do my research, because I'm curious. Let's see, tarot card 4? Swords, it looks like? Emperor. Okay, so we got the Emperor for 4, and then 12 is the Hanged Man. Okay, not death. Hanged Man. Emperor and Hanged Man. I really don't know much about tarot, so that might be a hint for something, and I just don't know what it symbolizes.
Tarot cards are a common and fairly popular divination method among occult enthusiasts. Or at least they were. They've fallen out of popularity in recent years, mostly due to the meteoric rise of mediums like Antoinette Roosevelt and Artorius Laurent. Ooh.
Minthy's Divabones.
Minthy's personal brand of numerology comes with its own quirks and props. She's designed her own divining instruments, including crystalline polyhedra and bone-whittled dice. Minthy would never tell me what kind of bones she uses. She has more fun just laughing at the question.
How interesting. Look how many things we could collect. Okay. Let's see. So back to this.
Nothing I'll lose any sleep over, but it really puts my default font, basic black ink cards to shame. I hold the card out for Julia to look at. She in your periodicals?
Duh, of course.
Well, excuse me, little princess. I can't know of everybody. Julia's brows swooped down into a perfect hood of doubt and concern.
John.
I can feel my face heat up at her judgment. What?
Jonathan.
What? Jules rolls her eyes with her whole head.
Oh, brother.
Well... Before I can ask for an explanation, however, the waitress that had been serving Sarah Fiona passes by. She smiles, silently asking if we need anything before continuing on towards where Adelaide has sat Minthy down. I lower my voice to a mutter. Enlighten me, since you're so smart.
You'll see.
You're annoying.
And so smart.
Not that we wouldn't argue on full stomachs. Julia grumps about the dining room because I'm hangry. Pure projection. When Dad's out of town, I can survive on peanut butter and toast. Still, I'm happy to indulge. Snacks are a powerful motivator, and it's true that neither of us have eaten since the train's complimentary lone tin of crackers. Like a lot of dining places, we smell it before we see it. Anyone would forgive us for not realizing that, though.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What a background. Me and Julia, whoa! Whoa!
The hallway opens up directly into the room, which resembles a conservatory more than any kind of dining hall I've ever eaten in. Perhaps it even was one once. In a past life, when the Oriel was still a palace manse, the apothecary would have to be somewhere. Whatever this used to be, the Grand Oriel decided to repurpose it after the acquisition. And wow, what a direction they took it in. The outer walls are all glass, looking out at the stormy, muddy grounds of the hotel, held up by gold and white paneling. Outside's relentless storm just makes the well-lit room even more stark against the dark glass. Plants and flower boxes spill over from every corner, leaving what feels like a daring amount of space for the intentionally mismatched chairs and tables at which guests take their meals. The air is a bit heady, floral, and if the color green had a scent, this would be it. Between the pollen and summer humidity, I feel like I'm breathing through a bouquet, like a plague doctor's mask. Hanging foliage cascades down from above, ivy curling up the suspended planters as well as stretching down, drawing one's eye to the miniature iron wheel centerpiece, bearing planters in place of passenger cars, overstuffed and heaving with fat leaves and yawning poppies, all framed by flowering vines erupting all around it. It is impressive, to say the very least.
Holy!
Yeah.
I mean!
The time it must take to water them every day.
A freaking Ferris wheel?
Near the doors to the kitchen, a gaggle of tittering nobles ooh and ah over a barely glowing spread of trinkets and knickknacks. A man in a monocle heads the proceedings loudly and proudly. An open jacket draped over his shoulders flaps dramatically with his wide arm gestures.
Oh my.
A fine choice, madam. A protection bracelet forged in fires far beyond the deserts of the East. Drawn to the spectacle, Julia wanders towards, but not actually to, the crowd, and I follow. The table is covered with protective charms and trinkets from a variety of different cultures. I see charm bracelets, floral sachets, amulets with a variety of gemstones, jade hands, pendants carved with most every occult symbol in the book, and even a painted wooden doll in the middle. A hitogata.
Oh my.
At the head of the table, opposite the gentleman and his wares, is a woman in head-to-toe mourning garb. Her furs are glossy and plush. The fabric looks heavy. Like Miss Samari, I suspect this is a noble guest of the hotel. The hawker leans back, pleased as pie, as the women fret over the indicated bracelet, with the lucky buyer practically swooning as she turns her wrist back and forth to catch the light.
Megalomaniacal. These first names that John comes up with are fire.
Aha! New customers! You have the pleasure of meeting Sylar Soil, mystical merchant and marvelous magnet. How do you do? Sylar's eyes narrow as he takes us in. His eyes flit down to my waist, and he reaches up to adjust his monocle. He spotted the omamori looped on my belt, I guess.
Oh, is that what the Clover thing is? Got it.
I can feel my eyelids fall heavy in annoyance, murmuring out of the corner of my mouth. We've been made. Jewel slips her hand into mine, idly touching her own omamori on her sash and keeping a bit behind me. I brace myself for Sylar to launch into another spiel about how our charms are so clearly outdated, and oh, wouldn't we feel so much safer with a new amulet or this authentic hitogata. But, mercifully, the spiel doesn't come. Another noblewoman picks up a rather gaudy-looking engraved ring, and Sylar's attention follows the sale. Ah, you have quite the discerning eye, madam. This ring was blessed by the Underfax herself in the waters of the Glass River. Absolutely priceless. But if you are truly in need of such powerful protection, I could be persuaded to part with it.
So interesting, don't you think?
We turn away from the table and are greeted by yet another noblewoman, this one in an ill-fitting dress with a huge fur collar hiding the bottom half of her face. Her yushanka is large, sliding slowly down over her eyes. She nudges it back up, both hands still on her muffler. And yet, the most distracting thing is the color. It's so much orange. Which part?
Oh my. Peach Fuzz Yeti. Amazing.
These items must be incredibly difficult to procure, yet he managed to fill a whole suitcase with them.
He put a number on priceless pretty fast, too.
Price for the gullible. The woman fixes her yushanka again, squinting at the pile of trinkets. The tittering table is too far away to hear me, but she's close enough. I clear my throat, hoping she's not in that gullible group. Sorry, miss.
No offense taken. I'm not here to shop. I'm Annie.
Annie? It's a bit odd for a noble to leave off their surname with strangers, and Annie is pretty plain, too. But who am I to judge? John, and this is my sister, Julia.
Hello, Annie. You excited for the show?
Oh, not really. My parents dragged me here. I'm just taking in the sights.
Sounds about right. You'd be pretty hard-pressed to find an unaccompanied noble of any age. It's boorish to travel alone. If your money can't buy company, it's not worth the paper it's printed on. High society parents promoting their children to chaperone guarantee an entourage. Tale as old as steam. There are certainly worse fates, but it's still a short stick. A polished, refined, high-quality gold-speckled short stick.
You said something about gullible customers. You think Mr. Soil's wares have been falsified?
Oh, I know they are.
What makes you so sure?
I mean, my eyes work. Julia squeezes my hand, the corners of her mouth turning up with a snork. But, sincerely, take the Hitagata for example.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. Just for no reason. Boop. It doesn't look damaged to me, so I'm gonna say it's oversized.
A Hitagata is a lightweight protective charm. They're designed to be kept on your person in case the worst happens.
But that one wouldn't even fit in a purse, much less on your belt. Hey, I knew something. Oh, and also apparently it's damaged. I couldn't have got this wrong even if I wanted to.
When they're properly bound, its preservation becomes enchanted. The ink can't bleed, the paper can't tear, the body won't wear. It's an oversimplified explanation, but there's no need to get lost in the weeds on it. Curse redirection is an abstract art, used by monks and exorcists. Curse breaking is a monumental task, and rarely tackled. But this one is covered in chips and smears, like it's been jumbling around in his luggage for a few weeks.
I mean, okay, this does have some tears. I guess that I was looking more at, like, the body part. I see what you see, though. As far as warding off a curse goes, you'd have just as much luck throwing a stick and telling it fetch. Oh, and apparently the biggest red flag.
But the biggest red flag?
Is?
That it's written on at all. A Hitagata, scapegoat, sacrifice. It can't be bound without someone specific in mind. You can't carry around spares. They're made per person.
Dang.
He might be able to explain it away as an example, but that one in particular, it's bunk.
How intriguing. But surely that doesn't mean that everything he's selling is fake.
Before I can make a sarcastic dismissal, Julia speaks.
No, not everything.
Her gaze lands on Sylar instead of his wares.
There's definitely something real there. I can feel it.
Annie lifts her Yushanka, eyes widened.
Oh my!
I follow Annie's concern, looking down at Julia. Her eyes are relaxed and half-lidded, not focused on anything. Her head brushes against my arm as she begins to list towards my side. I give our held hands a gentle shake, using my arm to gently set her back to straight. With a sharp breath through her nose, Julia comes to. As she scrubs at her eye with her free hand, I look back to Annie.
Sorry.
All right then.
Traveling all day. Anyway, broken clocks are right twice a day. But I still wouldn't buy anything from him. Where there's a tree, there's a forest. Julia gives me a bleary, confused look.
I mean, look around us?
You know what I mean.
I suppose that means the papers he's signing aren't legitimate then. I'll be sure to keep my... Oh!
Annie catches a glimpse of something over my shoulder, in the hall. A mustachioed man carrying a doctor's bag, heading past the dining area towards the east side of the hotel.
Oh my.
I'm sorry, you'll have to excuse me. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah. A pleasure.
Bye, Annie!
Oh, Dr. Harlow! Dr. Harlow, come back!
Annie picks up her skirts and chases after the man, disappearing from sight around the corner. I think Lola may have gotten her circus after all.
And case file is updated again. I caught that one this time. Oh, we got a bunch, actually.
Annie, noblewoman? A daughter of one of the invitees, dressed for a northern winter and not a southern summer. Looking at her makes me sweat. Annie is passively curious about the seance and incredibly focused on a man named Dr. Harlow for some reason. Dr. Harlow, doctor, apparently? Mustachioed man, Annie felt the need to chase down.
And what about Sylar?
Sylar Soil, salesman, mystical merchant and marvelous magnet. What a bunch of bunk. Every grind has its grifters, I guess. He won't be so eager to show his wares when he finds out what I do for a living. I can't stop him from taking advantage of the rich and willing, but if any of his sales look careless, I will report him. And if any of them look dangerous, I'll intervene.
Noted. Did we get any more items, by the way? We did. We got the Hitogata somehow.
Sylar's bogus Hitogata. It's chipped and damaged and it's got someone's name already written on it. Proof that it's fake. I could easily make a real one and show him what he's missing.
Dang! Calm down there, Jonathan.
At an event called the Seance Soirée, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone normal.
Yeah, I guess so.
Julia is slow to reply. I look back to her.
Sorry for zonking out. I didn't eat before we left.
No kidding. Me neither. It doesn't look like they're serving in here yet. There is a bar on the pamphlet. Let's go see if they have any snacks.
Ooh! And booze!
Not for you, Jules.
Aw! But I'm on vacation!
You're 15.
Come on, just one.
One booze?
Yeah!
No. You're still a growing girl.
Purity police.
Corrupt criminal. What would Dad say?
Sure, you can have a drink as long as you promise to regret it.
I hate that that's a pretty good impression.
Thank you. I've known him all my life. Well said, well said. Alright, let's see what this next background is, and then I think we might stop there.
The Grand O'Rail purports to be a lot of things. Luxurious, historic, esteemed, accessible, haunted. I'm not sure about that last one, but it's definitely dedicated to being grand.
Okay. I wanted to see what this looked like. Grand is right. This is the billiards bar. Cool. Unfortunately, I think I need to stop there for today. We didn't get to meet all the characters, but we got to meet a fair amount of them. This was awesome. It gave me, Danganronpa vibes for some reason. Maybe because the cast of characters are so, like, wacky. And they're, like, so distinct and unique and everything. I like the way things are getting set up here, for sure. The characters are fun. All distinct. They all have different connections to different people that are here, so I could see this being very, very intriguing indeed. I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw today. If you'd like to check out the demo for yourself, play a little bit more, I will have a link to it in the description down below. It's available on both Itch.io and GameJolt right now, and as mentioned before, this game is currently in Kickstarter until August 31st, so if you would like to go and support these guys, I hope you will go check out their Kickstarter. Thank you again to Mazzy for reaching out and asking me to check this out. I had a fantastic time, and I will have to come back and play this some more one day. Definitely. Alright guys, until next time, I will see you later.